Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the Podcast Mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. To Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast, I am, of course, your host with the most, Phil Better, the Podcast Mogul, and I am happy to introduce our guest today. They run a social media marketing agency that help coaches and consultants acquire clients organically using short form content. But before this, our guest was previously a freelancer, designer, and programmer that transitioned into the online space to make a larger impact. Because they literally started from nothing when they came to the UK at 13 years of age. They had no idea how all this tech stuff started. So we're going to get into all that. We're going to see what their goal is in 5 years, a book they recommend you to read, and so much more. Please welcome my guest, Muheez Owosho. I'm pretty sure I nailed it. I'm not sure. I had so much fear saying that, but thank you so much for being here today.
That's no problem, my man. Yes, Muheez Owosho. So got it close, I'll say. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure. When I reached out to you, because we're in a few similar Facebook groups, and I saw your post, saw what you've been doing. I'm like, I need to get this guy on because I haven't had someone from your area like went through your life transition, investing in themselves to be where they are today. And changing your life around. So I'm really excited to get into all that and share your story.
Yeah, thank you so much, my man. Of course, I'm happy to be here. And yeah, I can take it away.
All right. So like I said in your bio, you came to the UK at 13. Ooh, I'm getting out of focus. Where did you immigrate from? So where was home before the UK?
So I was born in Nigeria, actually. So I lived there. I did travel around when I was like 1-2 years old, but I lived there for like 13 years of my life. And yeah, I was just in Nigeria.
So you came from Nigeria, then your parents immigrated to the UK. You went through that huge culture shock of living in the UK and coming from Nigeria to UK, because I'm pretty sure it was a huge shock. When you got out of school, what made you decide to go into freelancing?
So at the time we came over, we didn't really have too much money. And it was a thought where I was like, every single day I would hear the word, we have to make money, we have to make money from our parents. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just see what is out there. And I went down this rabbit hole of, doing surveys, affiliate marketing, until I realized that I actually need to be providing value, because I was too focused on like the monetary gain. And I was like, I need to actually help people in order to get something back. And that's when I went through the route of like, freelance web development, because I was really good with computers at the time, because that's what we were learning in college. And I thought I could actually make a lot of money from it. So I was researching it and I was like, oh, wow, you can actually make quite a lot of money from freelancing. So I bought all the courses. I learned it with, the little money I had from like surveys. It was like those $12 Udemy courses and stuff. And I spent all this time learning, researching. Like that course literally probably changed my life. And yeah, since then I was just, making quite a lot of decent money from freelancing at like 15, 16. And it was pretty good at the time. So, 16-year-old making like $200, $300 per website. That's like $30K a month to a 16-year-old. So to me, it was crazy. Yeah.
So then you started doing this, you started freelancing, getting that dollar bills. And I'm guessing you started looking, as you took that course, you realized that you had to start investing in yourself and like up your skills and that. And one of the books you suggested was Atomic Habits. Now, when did you start reading that? Was that back when you were like 13 to 15, or is it something that you read recently?
It was back when I was actually 16-ish. I think 16 was when I was really taking this freelancing gig seriously. And I just wanted to improve how I was doing my day-to-day. Because I always thought that, this web development thing was like the only thing I was going to do for the rest of my life. So I was like, have to be really diligent, really focused at it. And I wanted to really nail down my habits. And at the time, laying it down at 16 really, helped my fundamentals to get to where I am today. So yeah.
I love that. And it's such a great book. I just recently read it last year, and it's already improving my life with the mini habits that I'm putting in. How did you transition from creating websites and doing that freelancing into Webflul?
So it's an interesting story because at the time I wasn't really considering an agency. I actually did consider something when I was like around January time last year. I saw a lot of web design agencies. I was like, these guys are really making really crappy websites for people, and I was charging them like $200, and I'll see these guys charging them like 1,500, and I'm like, wait, what's the difference? There's no quality difference. So I really researched into the model, and it turns out it's just like, you know, what is that called, contractor arbitrage, where they charge a lot and then they, pay like a freelancer in an offshore country and they keep the difference. So I was like, oh, this is the business model, and I wanted to go into it doing everything myself, and I tried to do it that way, but I was overwhelmed and burnt out, and I was like, damn, this isn't gonna work. And then I was researching a lot of productivity habits, because I was like, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life, so I just have to be productive. Then I found this very interesting video called Monk Mode, and it just basically explained, just completely dopamine detoxing, all that type of stuff. And then he had a course about starting an agency, and I was like, oh, what's this about? And then I watched it, I saw the course, I contemplated buying it for like, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks or something like that. It was like 1,500 a pop, and it was quite a lot for me at the time. I was like maybe 17, I think. And I saved up all the money I had from website deals, all that type of stuff, and I just paid it. And since then, it's just been history. So yeah.
So you decided on coaches and consultants to help them get more clients through short form content. So what does that look like? What is the short form content that you guys provide?
So the way that it works is that we basically craft short form content that gives a lot of value. So it's basic value of what the audience cares about. So let's say, for example, take a fitness coach. Most of the time, most people care about losing weight. So we told them to create short form content about fat loss. And then at the end of all of the videos, we have call to actions plus links in the description for people to basically do low commitment activities like signing up for a lead magnet, signing up for an ebook, joining a group. And then once they do become a user, they then get funneled through all of the other things that the client has. So they could have low ticket product, high ticket product. So the short form just serves as a traffic source. It's the same as ads. You spend money to get traffic with ads, and then you funnel them through your stuff. It's the same thing with short form. It's just that short form is a lot more real and true, instead of ads coming into someone's day and just interrupting it, if that makes sense.
No, it perfectly does. It's the new form of ads. It's
Exactly.
helpful ads and less there we go, less intrusive ads that we're so used to growing up, particularly me, just like popping randomly and to the feed, and
Exactly.
like this has no feel to what's going on.
100%.
Pardon me. If you would have to do it all over again, let's say you're starting from scratch, the agency, the freelancing, you're back 13 years old again, or 16 when you started taking this stuff seriously, would there be anything that you would change?
I think I would try to listen to people a lot more. I'll try to be a lot more humble in what I was doing, because I think around 16, 17, I was making quite a decent amount of money, more than a lot of my friends. And I didn't really like flex it too much, but like I always felt in my mind that I'm always better than everyone else, that no one is better than me, all that type of stuff. Until I got into the world of like YouTube and seeing all these entrepreneurs making ridiculous amounts of money, I was like, oh my God, like this is possible. I didn't see this as like, it was like a different universe to me. So I feel like, humbling myself, and also disciplining myself a lot earlier. I didn't really want to have to read a ton of self-help books to get me to where I want to be. So I think those things would have been really helpful at the start, and it would just lay the foundations for pretty much everything. Because if you have the mindset, you just need to do the action to get to where you want to be. So yeah.
I love it. And it's so true. Where do you see you going in 5 years? Like where do you want to be, Muheez, in 5 years?
So in 5 years, I want to be generally someone that people know, essentially. Like, how you hear the big names of like the Grant Cardones, the Alex Moses, all that type of stuff. I want to be, at that level of like, he built something and it's something of value. I don't want it to have some sort of negative connotation, because I ensure all the clients that come in my work, I get them results, because it's like it's not more of like a monetary gain now, because it did start off as that, but now
Mhm.
it's kind of like, wow, I'm seeing my clients spend like 10, 20 grand on other programs and they can't even get single results. And I'm like, I want to be this person where you can literally spend a fraction of that and still get something tangible, essentially. So I just want to get to that level, and it's going to take a while, but that's my goal, essentially. So yeah.
I love it. I love it because it's helping people become the best version of themselves because you're able to
100%.
provide them with a resource that they don't have to hustle too hard to do. Um,
100%.
why do you think patience is something that's key for entrepreneurs?
I feel like patience is a very it's very interesting, because it's like it's something that doesn't get vocalized a lot more, because when we do see these entrepreneurs like the Highlands and stuff, you see them with the nice yachts, all that type of stuff, you don't really see the work that went behind it, essentially. Like, you don't see that period of them, working their butts off to get the results. Like, if you see, for example, I don't know what type of influencers you follow, but let's say, for example, an influencer that helps coaches make more money. Like, you see them every single day posting testimonials of the clients winning, and you're like, damn, this is so instant. Like, this guy's clicked it. But like, the stuff he's doing now, probably most of the time, a year ago, he was probably still doing the same thing. He was just patient and he just kept building up the results, the case studies of his proof of work. So now he doesn't even have to sell. He just needs to go to a page. He just needs to show someone a page of his results, and that's his selling. And a lot of people don't realize that it takes so much work to get to that point, and they don't really see it because they're so used to seeing highlights. And that's why a lot of entrepreneurs quit, because they just see it as like, a fast thing. But once they realize it's a journey, none of them want to commit. So yeah. That's why I think it's
Oh,
important.
I love how you said that it's a journey. It's not about the destination, it's that journey. And it's funny because growing up I heard a lot of it's like it's not where you're going, it's how you get there. It's the journey that's more important. You hear it all in these books. And it's nice to hear
Mhm.
someone youthful, someone who's just like in the still in the upswing of their career, of the entrepreneurial career, say that because you realize like it's a long game. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Yeah, you can have moments of
100%.
hustle hard and sprinting to get to that goal. But if you want to reach those big highlighted goals, those like Grant Cardone's, Alex
Yeah,
Hormozzi's moments, you need to work and plan long term, and it's not the short term. I love that.
100%, 100%.
Um, do you have a memory that you've done from the time you've been a freelancer to running this this agency, sorry, Webfluid, that
Mhm.
cements your why, like the why that you started this, not only to hustle and get that money, but and that income, but also to help those people when you realize that it's putting out value versus asking for value.
Yeah, 100%. I remember there's like two main things. I'll say one when I was freelancing and one when I'm doing all this stuff today. When I was freelancing, I think my first ever gig was like a logo design. It was like £19, which is probably like $25 for you guys. So I got paid that amount to do like a very simple logo. And I did it like in 3 tries, and the guy really loved it. And with that amount, I was able to basically order, like, I think it was like Uber Eats at the time for my whole family. And I was like, guys, this is money that I made. And, I was so happy to see my mom's face when she saw that I was making money. Even though it wasn't a lot, I was really excited to see that. And I've just seen that smile of getting stuff for other people just kind of propelled me to do a lot more. And same thing for all of my clients as well too. He basically recouped the investment that he spent with us in like 2 months, essentially, with our short form content efforts. And seeing the joy in his face when he told me that, hey, I closed the deal for like 4 figures, I was like, wow, like the stuff I'm doing actually works and it's getting people results. And I don't know, I just love seeing my clients win, other people win, like sometimes even more than myself, to be honest. For like, because it's like that value that you're providing. Because it's even sometimes it's kind of selfish to provide value, because at the end of the day you're gonna get more back. So that's just kind of how I see it. So yeah.
Oh, I love your that statement that it's kind of selfish to give value because you're going to get more back, and it's true.
Yeah.
Like the more you give, the more you receive. Um, and I love that you have that mentality. And a lot of the entrepreneurs that I interview, they echo that statement: "Give and you will receive." So I'm Glad you learned it really young and not like me when you're nearly coming into 40 years of age. My God, I'm old. Sorry, that was something I'm dealing with now. With what you're doing, how have you been closed off to, and like, because you specifically use short form content, but I'm guessing some of your clients know that you may do websites or other activities from your freelancing days. Do you add those on, or do you see that the clients just want the short form content?
So yeah, we do add those on. So it's not something that we do vocalize at the start. So one of our clients came through and it was like she had like we were just doing show form for her, but she has a website. So she was like, oh, I don't know how to work this, the design isn't that great. And I was like, hey, let me take care of that for you, because like I just want to do that for my clients. And a couple little things of like, hey, can you help me change this? Can you help me add these email sequences and stuff? It might seem like, oh, we're not supposed to be doing that. But when you're starting out, it's very important to, you want to make these people who've paid you money like extremely happy. Like you don't want them to go anywhere else. You don't want them to feel like, they're not being worth it. And like you always want to serve them. And understanding that was just like, happy clients is like, it's the best form of outreach. It's better than paid ads, better than organic. Like just having happy clients it speaks more than anything. So yeah.
Excellent. I love how you pointed out the happy clients. Now, for your agency, you outsource the majority of the work, or are you doing it yourself, or do you have a partner that you work with?
So I have a COO who manages all of the service delivery. I still chip in here now and then. I just give like high level strategy ideas. I also have two in-house editors, which I know like personally as well too. So they kind of take care of all of the edits, all that type of stuff. And we also are hiring social media managers to take care of the posting and everything. And I'm also bringing in some other people on the acquisition side. But I'm just kind of like, the arc of like, is everything going okay? Is this doing XYZ? But it's not to the level of like, if I take a break, the whole business dies, because I have people in place that can actually like sustain all we're doing essentially. So yeah.
I love that. I love how you have set up your team so that you can literally do what the 4-hour work week is. Just work maybe an hour here, an hour there, and then you have the whole
100%.
day to yourself. I love that.
100%.
I want to jump into the spark question of the show and see what that leads us. As you know, Spark is from Seek Discomfort. They have a great card game that can help you turn strangers into friends. So what is a goal you recently accomplished?
One of the monetary goals I did accomplish, I did my first 5-figure month last month. I collected.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great goal. Like I didn't really expect it to happen this soon, but that was a good goal. Another goal I did do recently was I did get my mom like her new phone. Like this whole time she's had this old janky phone that she's been holding. She's like, when I do get a paycheck, I'll buy this phone, but she gets it and she doesn't buy it. So I was able to get her that, and the smile on her face was just kind of like, it was great. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. Muheez, I'm going to jump off the screen here. I want you to let my audience know where they can connect with you, how they can work with you if they're looking for someone to take care of their short form content.
So yeah, if you're looking to find me, you can check me out on Facebook. You can just type my name, Muheez Owosho, on Facebook. You can send me a message there. You can also message me on Instagram, Muheez WBL. So it's just Muheez WBL on Instagram, and you'll be able to find me there. And yeah, those are the platforms you can check me out. I'm also on YouTube. You can book a call there, and yeah, I just hope to speak with you soon.
Awesome. Muheez, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing your story with us, because I know it will inspire a lot of people, because if someone from literally nothing can come to this success and have a 5-figure month, then anybody can do it. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
100%, Mama. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you.
And to my audience, remember the show notes will have all the links to connect with our guests. So if you're a coach or consultant that's looking to use short form content, make sure you check out this aspiring young entrepreneur for your show, for your content. And remember to always invest in yourself.